YouTube, welcome back. Pass the prop. NFL Week 17. I know you haven't seen us in a while. It's weird. You haven't seen us in a week now. Obviously, hopefully you're feeling better, Stu. I know you went through the ringer there. Obviously, Christmas came around, which throws a little wrench into things, and kids are off of school right now, so my work schedule is just flying all over the board. So we're everywhere, man, and we're just gonna commit to the shitty hat hair. Now I'm all in. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
Nah, for me, self-preservation. No one needs to see what's going on under this. Gotta be careful right here. The hat is the ultimate cheat code for the content creator, for the YouTuber. It really doesn't matter what's going on under. I'll leave that up to your imagination. So appreciate the feeling better from Flan fam in the chat. Yeah, man, I had COVID 2 years ago when we did the show. Actually, funnily enough, I was like in my bed, like recording myself. So we're in better shape now. We've shaped up a little bit. We're doing okay over here. Maybe a little coughing or something in between. But hey, we got some great plays for you guys. And at the end of the day, with COVID, you can't really do shit. You know what I mean? You're just cooped up the whole time. So I'm just doing what I always do, reading about sports, trying to find winning bets, all that stuff. So had a great day yesterday. Nice little 5-0 pick me up over on that terrible Thursday night football game. Hoping to bring some momentum over here today.
Yeah, dude, I'm past the saltiness, but did lose in both of my fantasy semifinals. One of them had TJ Hawkinson get hurt in the first quarter, ended up losing by 4.
Yeah.
So that was disgusting. And the other one, my big one, my team scored 162 points and lost because Amari Cooper broke the record, and this guy snuck his way into the playoffs. And had Amari Cooper and David Njoku against me. Other than that, my team, Amon-Ra cooked, CD cooked, all my boys cooked, Bijan cooked, Baker Mayfield cooked. But when a guy drops 60, it kind of puts a wrench and stuff.
Yeah, no, I feel bad because I'm in your VIP chat. I'm looking at all these winning bets. I'm like, oh, my guy's killing it. But I know it's just eating at you every time. You're cashing all these bets. And at the end of the message, it's like, but Cooper's still fucking me in fantasy. It's absolutely brutal. I think I just texted you. I was like, you just got to let it go, man. Like this one's over. And it's not your fault. You know what I mean? You had a great season, drafted some good players. At the end of the day, Amari Cooper putting up fucking 500 fantasy points is going to end your week sometimes. And, it's going to send you packing every once in a while.
Yeah, it reminds me of 2 years ago when I faced Jamar Chase in the fantasy playoffs where the dude dropped 58. Come on, bro. This was the team, bro. This was a team, even though I did lose Joe Burrow. I didn't have a real quarterback. Shout out Baker, bro. Shout out Baker fucking Mayfield, man. Shout out him. Amon-Ra CD carried me to the final. Hey, the thing is, yes, I did make the big payday, but those boys been paying me out all fucking year, bro. And we're going to talk about them again today on this show because these dudes are absolute fucking wagons. I know it was a long time ago, but you got anything from last week? Any thoughts on last week that you want to talk about a little bit, or you just want to get rolling?
I'm just ready to get rolling, honestly. No dog of the week for me, although we did agree last week on Patriots. And hey, look what happened. You and me, first time agreeing all year on a dog. And it was the ugliest dog on the slate, by the way. I got a guy message me, hey, I'm a bookie. Everyone's on the Broncos. Should I hedge?
No.
Like, why is everyone on the Broncos? Like, I was completely away from everything. People are laying serious money on the Broncos, a 7-point. I mean, that was crazy to me. But hey, gambling is a week-by-week thing. Last week was a different week. This week, new quarterback, back on the Broncos, baby. They cashed one of my biggest tickets of the year last week against them, and now I'm going right back to them at -3. So I don't have an underdog. We've been killing the underdogs, but the one spread pick I do have, funnily enough, is actually back on the Broncos because, hey, I'm a little bit of a Stidham believer, one could say, actually. They signed this guy on the first day of free agency. There was a plan. He was arguably the best backup on the market coming into the season after what he did in those last couple games. So I'm just saying a little Stidham, a little Marvin Mims maybe. DFS could get a little bit – I might have to make my return to the NFL DFS streets to play all these random backups this week because it's got me a little fired up.
Yeah, I know I hate playing FanDuel. They have absolute garbage contests. Their contests suck in NFL compared to DraftKings. But, man, dude, FanDuel does not adjust to these backups playing, and they give you such soft salaries on those. So just something to look forward to if you do decide to play this week. Check over there because they usually have really shitty pricing on those backups. But dude, it's hard for me to even want to even play FanDuel, dude. They just suck on all that shit, dude. Their contests are not even close to DK's contests. And yeah, not hyping DK or anything. Don't have any. We're not sponsored by them, obviously, because there's no big DraftKings thing in the back. No, nothing like that. But just it's tough when you have like 120 person contest on a $3 thing. Like, wow, all right, I'll win $50. Yeah, dude, I just put all my time into this shit. You're gonna give me a $50 payout? Come on, dog.
Yeah, that's always DFS for you right there. But hey, that's why we're doing the player props. The DFS for me at least is a little bit more for fun. The props where you make the money, so then you can spend a little bit on a milli maker every once in a while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me pull up the slate here, Stu. Any game you want to specifically talk about before our props in there? I know the show's going to go a little bit quicker. We got 40 of you guys in here in 6 minutes. That might be a new record. Let's get that up. We're gonna run this back. We've both been hot. Obviously, more been college basketball for me, a little NFL. You smoked yesterday. You got a game you want to talk about here specifically before we get it moving?
I mean, I think it's got to be tomorrow's game. I know it's not, original, but I think that game has so much potential. I mean, with the Dallas and the Lions, a team that, man, their defense hasn't been so good recently, but their offense is good enough to sustain it, right? And that's kind of the almost the most fun game condition. And I don't know about you, I've been staying back from all the MVP discourse and all that stuff, but how about that next game right after, too, on Sunday with Lamar Jackson? I mean, the whole world is talking about this guy right now. I'm a big Lamar fan. Even with that, though, I still can agree with the criticisms that, like, it would feel kind of weird to give Lamar the MVP this year. Like, I mean, the Ravens have been really good, but like it would feel weird for me to give anybody the MVP this year. I honestly, everyone's so mad on Twitter. I'm sitting here like I have no clue who I'd vote for right now. Like it's so unclear. So I guess that's something to remember for next year when you go to make these futures bets. Remember how insane it is at this exact point in week 17, how much uncertainty there is before you make that click button to send your money away for multiple months, right, on a future before the season. I would say that's my biggest takeaway right now is just look at it, right? I mean, anyone could win, and we're a week or 2 weeks away. So maybe, be a little bit more careful when we're betting preseason futures, right? You could get two at the same price he was preseason, and he still has a much higher chance to win. I wouldn't have bet him before the season because I wouldn't have believed that he could actually make it through a season. But now if Tua wins these next two high-value games, he could actually be the MVP. So a lot of fun stuff to watch for me. I think I'll just be kind of focused in on this MVP race. I mean, if CMC puts up 5 touchdowns against my Commanders, is he the favorite now? Like, I don't know. It feels like it could go a lot of different directions. So that's going to be what I'm tapped into.
I've been talking about it all year, man. I wanted it to be Tyreek or CMC. I've never said to anybody else that it should be anybody else. I think one of those two should win it, to be honest. Like, they're actually, in my opinion, the most valuable. And it's going to just be a quarterback play or whatever. But, I mean, Tyreek still could break that record. You still got CMC who could probably break the touchdown record this year too, on top of another all-purpose season where he's fully healthy like this. So I just can't, dude. Lamar hasn't done enough for me, bro. I know he just won a huge game against a guy who was probably leading front runner, but fuck, dude, I don't see how we do that. But I'm gonna be that guy. I gotta pick my Packers, bro. I gotta pick that Packers game Sunday night. Both teams need to win. I know Jaren Hall is playing. Should be all right. It's been a while since we got Jordan Love facing off against a full blitz team here. I'm really interested to see that. Really got to see Jayden Reed back in that lineup for this to be a good game for me to want to watch. But should be a really good game, 1 point spread. Obviously, I'm a little biased here. You guys know, as you can see the big Packers thing behind my head. But I think it should be a good game. I actually really think this should be competitive. Packers do struggle with running quarterback, so I think Hall might actually have some pretty decent success here. In the rushing game might be something for you guys if you want to bet some rushing props. I just know how my Packers have done in the past against these rushing guys in these primetime games, and that they're going to be all out on stopping the receivers here.
I agree. That's going to be a fun game. I mean, I'm a big Vikings guy on the season, but how many injuries do these guys got to take? I mean, Hawkinson now done for the year. It just feels like every week these guys get punched in the face by something new. I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm looking back on it. I had this thought at Christmas. If the Vikings had Kirk Cousins, man, I would have more money on the Vikings to win the Super Bowl than probably any team ever, like that for futures, because I'm not the biggest futures better, but I know with the way this team was trending, if we had someone dependable, I would just keep betting it week after week. But unfortunately, we're at a much different spot now, right? And as much as I like this team, I like your Packers this week. I think I like the rushing look, though. I'm going to be looking for those rushing props for Hall. That's 100% a great angle right there. But at the end of the day, the Vikings defense has been great, but we've seen a couple cracks recently, and look how Jordan Love is playing, man. I mean, it could be a really fun game. So I'm super excited to tune into a nice rivalry matchup week 17.
Rivalry does not mean low scoring, guys. When I say that, dude, Joe Barry is the worst coach in the NFL history. This man should be probably – I don't even think he could coach an XFL team. He is the worst coach to ever touch a box up there, bro. He shouldn't even be up there. He literally should be – put his ass like backup special teams coordinator, bro. Make him feel like he's a part of it. He's by far the worst coach I've ever seen. Won't change. Now LaFleur said he's going to have to do more work on the defensive end. Just disgusting. Don't really know what we're gonna do with that. But yeah, let's you want to get it moving?
I'm good for it. And before we do, I see a comment in right there. Drop your questions, drop your comments, whether you're live, whether you're tuning in later. You know, we're here in the comment section. We're here live, but always feel free to drop your questions. We're here to answer them.
Sounds good. Let's get our first round of props in there, and we'll get to all those questions that come in here. So start us off, Stu.
Sounds good, man. We got a good one right here. 1.5 units. I'm going Dak Prescott, 275 passing yards, minus 114. You can get this at 275.5 as the base number on FanDuel, but if you go to the alt line, you can actually save yourself a yard for no additional cost right there. Just something it's always helpful to do. It's always helpful to get yourself that one extra yard. We know we've done this for so long. It can bite you in the butt. But if you look at FanDuel versus the rest of the market, oh my God, the rest of the market I think is actually caught up while FanDuel is still slacking a little bit. And they're at the 285 mark. You rarely see this late it's not super late in the week. We still got plenty of time, still a Friday. I'm surprised to see a discrepancy like this in such a popular game. That's why I tweeted out that I do not think this line will last very long. When we look at this Lions defense, guys, they're one of the biggest pass funnels in the league. It's a tremendous rush defense. A guy like Hutchinson down there, maybe not living up to those expectations that people had in the pass rushing game, but how about that rush defense, right? The edges, and then that interior line has been very, very solid all year long. What I really like too, Brian Branch, a guy I bet on a couple times, has been grading out phenomenally via PFF. He's back up there starting. All these factors to me have led to going to Dak Prescott in this game. And when you look at the other side, right, when you look at the Lions defense, 32nd in drop back EPA per play over the last 7 weeks, right? That's awful. That's terrible. That's bottom of the league. When we look at Dak Prescott, completions of 20 or more air yards in the league, number one passer rating in the league. So not only do I think that this team will be able to consistently move the ball down, the chunk plays are going to be there, right? And when we look, who's been better than CeeDee Lamb at the wide receiver position? I mean, earlier in this year, I don't know if I had him graded at maybe the level I should have. And he's, I think, proving people like me and a lot of people run that this is one of the best wide receivers in the league because he's winning outside, he's winning inside. How about Jake Ferguson, a guy that, oh my God, he's been a revelation for me. Just take that 4 receptions. Doesn't matter what the line is. Go to the alt line, take 4 and match him up with another tight end. Bring them down to 4. That's how you make money, right? These tight end alt receptions have been printing for us this year. But when I look, and when we talked about this a couple of times, when you look at the board and you like everybody, right? You go, I want to bet this guy, I want to bet this guy. And then you go back to the quarterback and you're getting a very respectable line versus the rest of the market. I think it made it very clear. And when you look at Dak's splits on the season, he has double the passing touchdowns at home than he does on the road. He has 400 more passing yards than he does at home than he does on the road. He's been absolutely killing it at home this season. He's going to be in a more comfortable game environment. It's a matchup where they won't be able to run the ball effectively. Not that they've been able to do that against anybody, by the way, right? I mean, Pollard, a guy we trusted with this heavy workload, they haven't been efficient no matter who they go against. So the fact that we're still getting this at a reasonable number, my number for this would be in the 290s. I expected maybe a 295, something like that coming into the week. I think we're disrespecting Dak right here. Obviously, good teams get punched in the face every once in a while. That's part of life. We just saw it with that 49ers San Francisco game. It's all about the bounce back. I love getting Dak on a big stage right here. Probably out of the MVP conversation. That doesn't mean he hasn't been playing actually at an MVP level, to be completely honest. So I love that we're getting 10 points against the market right now. That won't last for very long. Loving Dak Prescott. And by the way, I didn't even talk about my favorite part. The Lions facilitate these high-paced game environments. Some teams have a shitty defense like my Commanders. That doesn't mean you can trust them to score. That doesn't mean you can trust them to keep the pace. No, this is actually one of the few teams that's going to put that pressure right back on Dallas, right? The Lions offense is going to have them working all day long. So it's not like this is going to be one of those blowouts that we saw earlier in this year. Both of these teams are very well suited to go punch for punch. And I think that really benefits Dak Prescott more than anybody else.
Yeah, I like this play. My only concern is my last time watching this Dallas defense these last 2 weeks is they can never get off the field when the running game comes around. Right? They just can't get off the fucking field. Because Dan Campbell might throw the ball 8 times today, bro. Why do you think I got Amon-Ra not on my list? Amon-Ra's on my list every fucking day. Not today. Not today. Because I'm worried that this dude is just going to get absolutely smoked here. But the thing is, I truly think Amon-Ra is going to smash. I think all this there. That's the only thing in there. I'll probably even bet Amon-Ra, dude. I think I actually do have him a bet. Fuck it. I'm going to put him in my bet here. I'm going to throw him in a bet. I'm going to throw him in one of my bets just so I can say I'm on this game in multiple different ways. Yeah, I think St. Brown smashed. I think all that. It's just that you ever have that where it just kind of sits in the back of your mind for a long time. Just like, dude, 3rd down, 8 yards. You got to stop this run. And they just couldn't get off the field. So that's just like stuck and ingrained in my back of my head. I actually have Amon-Ra in a bet now, so we're going to be talking about him in a second because I think he smashes too. But just you know how it is that just something sour tasting around a little bit.
No, I agree with that. I will say one of the good things for me, I agree with you, is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, is actually one of the few guys that is known to dramatically adjust his game plan based on the opposing team's strength and weaknesses, right? And this is something we saw with Steichen a lot last year with the Eagles. He was one of the guys that was notorious for that. And what we've seen so far, especially against defenses that profile similar to the Cowboys with these really good edge rushers, is that they want to get the ball out fast and they want to throw the ball a lot and they want to supplement with a lot of short passing. And to me, when you have guys like Laporta, when you have guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you have a defense like the Cowboys that does play a lot of single high safety looks, there's going to be explosive plays in there somewhere. So I see what you mean about the rushing game slowing it down, but I just think this offense is explosive enough that we're still going to keep that pace throughout the game.
Yeah. No. I mean, you don't have to talk me into betting Dak. I'm literally about to talk about CD on my end here. But just, yeah, you know, I just kind of have that always in there just to be devil's advocate. I'm going to CD Lamb this game as well. 70 receiving yards mixing with Lamar. I'm very surprised at the line they're giving Lamar here on the rushing total here. CD obviously 70 yards. I bought that down pretty heavy. Lamar's gonna be doing most of the heavy lifting, but 70 yards for CD should absolutely smash this. He's hit this in 3 of his last 4 games. And I talked about it, the competitive games, right? This should be a competitive game. Dak should be trying to throw it here. The shit talk on Tony Pollard is warranted. The dude hasn't done anything, right? He hasn't done anything enough to say, hey, he can be a bell cow here for us to do it. No Rico Dowdle. I don't think enough people are talking about that. He's sitting out this game. What the hell else are you going to do? Right? You're going to just run Tony Pollard right up the middle? No. You got to use that screen game that CD's so damn good at. I ended up having his yards last week. He had his catches. Unfortunately, he caught too many long passes, and he couldn't do short passes, or else we would have cast our fucking 1,100. But besides the fact, I think CD absolutely smashes this spot. Love him at home. I love looking at those numbers at home. Like his splits are just absurd, dude. His splits are absurd along with Dak there as well. 60 of his 109 catches there. He's already got 7 touchdowns. Like this dude's a wagon. This Dallas team's a wagon there. Heading to the Lamar side, I know it's not going to be as talked about here, but we saw this Miami team give up 25 yards rushing to Dak. And I think only one of them was a designed run. The other ones are just kind of escapability. I'm going to take Lamar in the open field versus Dak all day, right? So that's not even a question. He gave up 15 on 4 carries to Will Levis, one of those being, I believe, a kneel down. So 3 carries for 15 yards. Just kind of letting you get out of the pocket and scramble there. Obviously, Lamar's kind of his own type of guy here, right? I mean, he's so good in the open field. So good when you get pressure on him, right? He finds a way to escape. That's just something that you can't really game plan for. I like having – I would be a little bit more worried on this if Phillips was in, right, that back corner or their defensive end where you're going to have him and Bradley Chubb coming in. But now you're going to have Bradley Chubb coming from one side. Well, let's just roll away from him. Let's start getting away from him. Let's run. Let's get out of here. Obviously, Lamar has just been an absolute beast on these rushing props, hitting 40 and 3 his last 3 games, and I believe every single game this year but 3. He's been very, very good, and buying it down gives me a little bit – I feel a little safer about it. I feel like it's going to be a pretty bet spot, so these are the spots I like to bet down a little bit.
Yeah, no, I like this combination a lot. I mean, like you, towards the end of the year, I think you'll notice both you and me are doing a little bit more of these combination plays, and that's because at the end of the day, the lines are getting a little bit sharper, right? But sometimes not sometimes, actually, I can say for a fact, they don't scale. They don't adjust the alt lines maybe to the level that they should, and that's what we try to take advantage of here. I like this combination. You nailed it with Lamar. I think there's more upside, for carries in this game. I think for maybe shorter rushes because of the way that the Fangio defense operates, those deep safeties, they want to keep everything in front of them. I think we see a lot more like 7-yard runs, than we do maybe like the 12-yard runs for Lamar. So I like that we're buying down to get a little bit extra safety right there. And man, you nailed it. CD obviously goes to my Prescott play. I don't think CD should be listed under 100 in this game. I think it's kind of the bookmakers just don't want to put up that triple-digit number. They're very scared of it, but I think a fair number probably would be at this point. Tons of potential right there. If he go, I think under 70 receiving yards is like an injury territory because who's stepping up if it's not CD? Like this team consistently gets him involved no matter what, and there's a reason why. Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup. I mean, these guys are okay, I guess, but they're just guys at the end of the day. So definitely love this spot right here. I would think this would be more like -120, -130. So I assume that's going to be the direction it goes towards by the end of the week. So definitely get on it soon.
Beautiful. And it's funny. I'm looking at our second round of plays here. We're in the same 2 games, bro. We're in the same 2 games on all of our bets, which I love to see. Let's take a look at the chat. We got Jeff in there bringing up that Panther spot. I will not bet on the Panthers, unfortunately. I can't do it. It's just you can't count anything against this Packers team, bro. Like this Packers team will play a close game with me and 9 of the 50 of you guys in here and Stu. We would be able to cover the spread against these dudes. They suck. They can't stop anybody. Bryce Young just threw for 300 yards, dude. Like, come on.
I'd be a great fullback in that game, though. I'd lay down the necessary blocks, high IQ plays, keep my head up, baby. That's what we're talking about. But I agree with you. I mean, if I had to bet this game, gun to my head, maybe the Panthers, but I'm just not going to bet it. Like, man,
if you have to think like that, then you shouldn't even bet them.
Exactly. I just think the Jags are still I hate to say it, they're still a little overrated in market. Like they're not a good team. Like they're not going in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like it's been awful. It's been truly bad over these, and it's not necessarily Lawrence's fault. I think he's playing through a lot of stuff right now. Definitely not at 100%, but I mean, it's not a team that's going in the right direction. And the Panthers, at least they finally are stringing together something. Bryce Young with the best game of his career. I mean, like I said, if I had to go to a side, maybe I'll just take the points there, but I don't really have much interest, especially that trend. I mean, like, what do we know about this interim head coach? From watching the games, I haven't seen anything that's like blown my mind. Like he functionally fixed something. No, I think it's the same kind of crappy team. I just think the Jacksonville Jaguars happen to be a little bit more crappy than people think they are.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't have any other spot. I wouldn't want to touch this game at all. But the thing is Panthers don't force turnovers. That's what Jaguars have been killed with is the amount of turnovers from Trevor Lawrence in their offense. It's not been because of anything else. It's shot themselves in the foot. This defense has to make something happen for that to do it. You know what I mean? So, like, Jordan Love torched these boys. Like, torched them. Bro, and I know their numbers are pretty good, but that's because everybody's running against them because they're up by 50. So it's like early in the season. So I would stay away. I don't think I would have any money on that. I know you're a fan of the Rams. I'm not really. I don't think that they're going to do too much, like at all. I'm not a huge fan there. I don't mind. I mean, I like Stafford. I do. I love Stafford. I like their offense. It's just I'm not a fan of that defense. That defense is getting shredded, bro. Like shredded fucking cheese gone, bro. Like if I can watch these dudes they're getting torched by everyone. I can't, like, their defense is not what it was in the Super Bowl when they were there, right? Their defense was scary. Yeah, I'm not scared of this defense. It's shootouts now. And there's some teams in the NFC that are better at shootouts than the Rams.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it, honestly. Like, I like the Rams too, but like I don't think people actually realize how bad their defense is yet. Like it just like bad. People like the fun parts of them, the fantasy parts of them, and it makes more headlines. But I don't think the Rams have been maybe like tested in prime time and embarrassed where they maybe like other of these popular teams have. But I like the Rams, but at the end of the day, I agree with you. Like Super Bowl, no, I don't see a reason to bet that because once it's playoff time, they're going to give up 40 to like anybody they play. Like the defense is really, really bad. And like the scheme is kind of covering up. They're doing okay of like just keeping everything together. But like that's not how you win games, especially come playoff time. So I agree. Like, would I take them ATS in a playoff game? Yes. Do I like Matthew Stafford, the cover god? Yes. Can I get exposure to this offense in specific ways? Of course. But to actually win the Super Bowl, that's probably not a bet I'm going to be going towards. But hey, keep on cashing these over tickets and helping us player prop bettors out because we're very thankful.
Love it, love it, love it. 46 of you guys in here live with us, 27 minutes in. We're going to be probably a little bit quicker today just because the time is a little bit off a little bit. But let's get to plays 3 and 4. If you could hit that like button, I'm going to have to go check on how many likes we got here. We should be getting, into that mid-20s, low 30s here at this point. We're in the same game again, Stu. I love to see it. I'll let you kick it off here.
Good, and I hope your play is Baker Mayfield rush yards because I just thought of that in my head while we were doing the show. Okay, it's not – that might make its way to my card as well, though, because if you're in my Discord or you follow me on Twitter, rush yards versus the Saints, baby. That has been the absolute cash cow, and Baker Mayfield was one of the examples of a non-athletic quarterback cashing it against them. Not to say Baker isn't athletic, but you know what I'm talking about. He's in the, run for 2, no design carries, 2 scrambles kind of category. And he's putting up 30 rush yards against these guys. So I did want to bring that up before I actually got into my play because, I thought of it mid-show. I figured I'd share it here with all of our guys that are hanging out with us live. We appreciate you guys. Now to the actual play. Chris Godwin over 52.5 receiving yards, -114 over on FanDuel. Another one, you're getting about 2 to 3 yards better on FanDuel than you are on DraftKings and the rest of the market. So it's always good to have that little extra added protection. How about Chris Godwin going over this number in 3 straight games? That's not the most impressive part. He's had 10 targets in each of those last 3 games, and we saw it. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, Canales came out in the press game conference, said, we need to get Godwin more involved. Like, this is bad. It's not, and then it didn't happen, right? And people were kind of freaking out. Then the next week, head coach went up there and said, we really need to get Chris Godwin involved. And now we've actually seen that happen. So it's good to see that the coach speak is actually trending in the right direction. I don't know what you're pointing at me right here for.
Dude,
but
it wasn't the coach, bro. It was the wife dogging the coach saying, did you see that? His wife tweeted at their yeah, dude, you should read that. Chris Godwin's wife literally said that. Like, She was
wow.
because they came out and said, "Oh, we're gonna get him more involved," blah blah blah. And then she posted like what his usage was in the game before and the game after, and it was the exact same. And then the head coach came out and it changed. But you should look that up. It was really funny. She's like, "Oh, well, you're gonna say this and then do this," and then it was the exact same. You gotta look that up. It's pretty funny.
That's hilarious. Okay, I remember that very specifically because I remember Canales came out and said it, and yes. I remember our guy Frank, who we're in a group chat with over at the game day, he then posted about it the next week, and I remember commenting. I was like, he just said it last week and he wasn't involved. You know what I mean? And then that was finally the week. I didn't know the wife part of it, but that is absolutely hilarious. That is a great addition to that. I had no clue, but shout out to her. She's doing the Lord's work because, hey, look what's happened when we got Chris Godwin more involved. They look really good. And additionally, Chris Godwin's also not just running routes inside. He's actually running more routes outside this year than he has over any of the last, 6 years of his career. So not only is he winning inside, he's also winning outside. And that's a good sign from a talent perspective. He was a little injured last year. He was a little inefficient. I was starting to get a little bit worried we're going in maybe the washed category. But it's great to see that Godwin is now healthier, trending in the right direction. To me, we've seen a 22-yard catch in each of these last 3 games. We've seen 10 targets. Not only is he being used in the short and intermediate, we're now going downfield more. And when you check the air yards, it's even crazier. Over the last 3 weeks, Chris Godwin has 100 more air yards than Mike Evans does. That's insane. I would have probably bet that Godwin wouldn't have more air yards than Evans over a 3-week stretch, maybe at any point in these guys' careers. That tells you about the kind of routes that these two are running, right? With Godwin dominating the more short and intermediate in the past and Evans being the deep ball guy. We've seen a lot more similar route trees between these guys this year. So while the receptions line is what a lot of people think of with Godwin and what I'm more inclined to, I was surprised to see that line was juiced up, but you were still getting good numbers on the yards, and they maybe weren't adjusting for a little bit more of this downfield usage. So for me, that's what stuck out when we look at the other side. This pass defense has been really bad, man. They lost their number 1 corner, and it's not been going in the right direction. Now we got Baker Mayfield. I mean, this guy's – I don't know what to say about him. He's acting like a top 10 quarterback this year. I want to call him a top 10 quarterback. People are going to get mad, but all the numbers are telling you he's a top 10 quarterback, and your eyes are even kind of telling you, compared to like a lot of these other guys, Baker's killing it this year. So it's good to see that there's not really a QB debacle over here. We have a bad secondary. We have a Saints team that's still very solid against the run, very good at limiting the tight end position, shutting down the middle and that kind of area. I think Godwin has a very good game. I mean, if we get 10 targets, I'd love it. But I mean, even if you look at the 10 target games, he's not even really converting these at the rate you'd want. It's about a 50% catch rate, the average about 69%. I think we even still could be getting some positive regression right here. So this is a low number to me. I think there's going to be plenty of passing in this one. Rashad White will probably benefit as well. That's our guy. We love his receptions. He's always a lock to get those 4, but I think we're kind of disrespecting Chris Godwin at this point.
Yeah, no, and you kind of talked about my guy, Rashad White. I'm going to his rushing, though. Unfortunately for me, we talked about Godwin getting all that love there, and it kind of taken, Rashad White's been taking a little bit of the back seat, right? He's been more of that 6 to 7 target guy. He did last game, but that's because the Jacksonville Jaguars are phenomenal against the run. That's like what they're good at. They're a pass funnel team. It's like the Titans, right? That's what we want. That's what they want you to do, right? But before that, man, I mean, even last week, they still gave him 20 carries, bro. They gave him 20 carries. The dude had 39 yards, and you're still feeding this man. The dude's volume is unmatched. It is phenomenal. Like maybe Kyren Williams and McCaffrey. That's who you're fighting with at the top right now. Rashad White is going to get 20 carries. He hit this number against the Saints earlier this season. And this Saints defense is it's awful. It is awful defense. Rashad White, like I said, is almost. I mean, he's right there in all of this in these numbers, right? He's averaging 3.6 yards per carry on the season, bro. That's it. But the boy's going to touch the ball on the ground 20 times, right? I only need you to average like freaking 2.5 yards a carry, man. And I think he's going to have a couple of those breakout runs here. Like I said, prior to last week with that 7-target game, 6 receptions, he hadn't gone over 3 catches in 4 straight games, but that's because they've just been force feeding him. You're seeing a little bit more Godwin action, getting those underneath routes and a couple of those deeper ones. I really like Rachaad White this week against the Saints front. I really like this Buccaneers team overall. They're at home in a game they got to win, right? I actually really like this one. I think they take care of business. I think the spread's almost too close for me. But really like Rachaad White this week, especially, like I said, with the volume here. And Baker's been nice, man. I think they're going to get ahead in this game and just be able to run it whenever they want. And we've seen multiple games this year where Baker's had a huge game and Rachaad White's had a huge game. Doesn't need a ton of volume for Baker for him to get there, which is nice. Amon-Ra St. Brown, again, wagon. The dude's a fucking wagon. The dude finds a way to get a job done. Did have his ladder in my group last week, up to 10 catches. The dude had 12. I think he's just going to get force-fed here again. We always like these types of games when you have alpha on alpha receiver, right? You got a guy across from you that's having just as good of a year, if not better, than you. You got to show out. This would, dude, I'm talking about this game, and I'm like, bro, if Amari Cooper didn't do that shit to me, I'd literally be watching Saturday, watching my 2 best players go at it, bro. Just going ham. Now I have to fucking do it in a third place game. But I'm saying this is going to be a high scoring game, highest total on the St. Brown obviously going to be needing to be involved here. I think Dallas might need to sell out a little bit more to stop this run, especially with Dan Campbell in there wanting to force feed him. I wanted to bet Montgomery carries. I probably still will do it. I'll probably bet on a lot of these running back props as well. But St. Brown has done short routes. He's getting those 4 or 5 yard catches still, but he is getting those 15 yarders, which is nice. It inflates the receiving yards, and you're seeing those longer catches, right? Like last week, you see him with that. He had a 25-yard catch in there, but he had multiple catches under 10 yards, which is what we really want in these reception props, especially with that offensive line kind of struggling in pass protection still and allowing more pressure. So I think St. Brown's going to be that safety valve as always. Sign me up. Love both these guys. Minus 103 is criminal, bro. Absolutely criminal for the volume of both of these dudes.
Yeah, Rachaad White's absolutely the kind of guy we like to buy down because the volume is so secure that if you know he's going to get the ball, really no matter what the matchup is, you like having that, ability to buy down right here. And you mentioned the yards per carry aren't great on the season, but they haven't been great all season long, right? They haven't been great since week 1. And this team has been steadfast in their commitment to run. 1st and 10, run the ball. 2nd and 9, run the ball. 3rd and 8, that's when we get a little screen pass to Chris Godwin. That's the reason why the Bucs are not, they're like complete paper tigers. There's no chance of success in the postseason. I know people are coming in the right direction, and I like them. I bet on them preseason. I told you guys I like Baker. This coaching staff, I'm telling you, it's bad. It's the decision making here is so silly. They have an awesome 3rd down conversion rate because Baker Mayfield has been surprisingly good, but it's not sustainable. That doesn't win you playoff games. So I saw some hype. I saw some, oh my God, is this team a dark horse? I personally do not think they're a dark horse. That doesn't mean I still don't love Rachaad White. I mean, 50, or I don't have him, sorry, but I like the bet right here. I want to make that very clear. Okay, I've been a nice Rachaad White hater on the season so far, but I still bet on him plenty, right? And I think this is a good example of how to do so. Is if we know a guy's going to get 16 carries, 17 carries, then buy down. If he doesn't get 50 yards, then that's not really a bad bet on you, right? I mean, the process is there if a guy's getting you that 16, 17 carries against a bad defense. So I like the opportunity right here. And you already know, Amon-Ra St. Brown not getting 6 receptions would be insane. I mean, this guy is such a pivotal part of their game plan on a week-to-week basis, and he's been having a lot of success for that reason. We had obviously the 10 ladder up to last week, which was super exciting. Almost had that awesome cash on both sides, but it was still great to just get that ladder on his side because I remember I was free. I was like, that's a great price that we were getting on Amon-Ra. So was super glad to cash that and ready to go back to him this week.
Love it. Still got 25 you guys in here live through all of our plays here. Hit that like button. Just cleared 20. Let's get it up to like 30 here before we head out today. Stu, let's get a quick recap in here, and we'll kind of discuss if we want to do some long shots or if we want to post them like we've been doing lately.
Sounds good. We got Dak Prescott, 275 plus passing yards, 1.5 units, -114 over on FanDuel. Remember, that's 10 yards better than the rest of the market. We got to be quick. Staying on FanDuel, Chris Godwin, over 52.5 receiving yards, -114. That's just for 1 unit right there.
Awesome. I'm going to be combining CD and Lamar Jackson here, -109 together to go along with Rachaad White, 50 rushing yards, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 receptions, -103. Really like both these spots and the prices we're getting on both of these guys. Let's take a look at a couple questions here. And then do you want to do long shots? Or you want to post them?
Yeah, I have some long shots. I'm ready to go.
All right. So let's talk about Larry here. Are you thinking about taking Evans for a touchdown this week, knowing the information we have here?
I took him for a touchdown last week because he's a phenomenal red zone receiver, and that's probably why I'd take him again this week, because he's a phenomenal red zone receiver. I mean, this is a team trying to make the playoffs. They're not trying to get their guys stats. So I would say like this kind of stuff is something to keep in mind. It's always important, but I don't think you should ever make a bet over something like this, especially when the context is more important. But that being said, it's a phenomenal matchup. Mike Evans is a great wide receiver. He's a fantastic red zone receiver, one of the best in the league. So I do like his touchdown, but like it's not necessarily because he's in a position to break the record right now, because they're trying to win, playoff series. That's what they're trying to get to. That's their hope. So, it's not like the defining reason, but I do like to play. Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you have any on Jameson Williams, 40 receiving yards? I feel like I would just, if you have those alternate longest receptions, the thing that sucks is they're using him in the rushing game as well, which is kind of annoying. So maybe just touchdown.
No, I'm going to talk about him in our long shots. So I do like him. But
all right, let's go. All righty. What is your long shot here, Stu?
Okay, we got a little 50-plus yards combo play on DraftKings. We got Jameson Williams and Jalen Hyatt to both have 50 receiving yards. That is 1740 over on DraftKings right now. I'm going to be playing a lot of young guys this week. There's one guy missing for the trifecta for the round robin. His name is Marvin Mims. His props are not available yet, but I will be betting him. 1740 over on DraftKings for Jalen Hyatt and Jameson Williams. Both have only 50 receiving yards.
That's pretty nice.
I think so too, man. And like I said, I'm playing both of these guys separate. I laddered both of these guys, and it's for exactly what you said. If Jameson Williams, well, one, he does have that annoying thing where he could get a carry and it could kill you. That happens. Tyquan Thornton did that to me a little earlier this year. It sucks. It's part of the possibility. If you have the option to ladder that, I don't think that's a bad idea either. It's just way less available is always the problem right there. But what we do like is Dallas plays single high safety coverage at the second lowest mark of any team in the league, which means they trust their guys to go out there and fight and to go out there and win on the edge. And they're not giving them much of a safety blanket on the back end. That benefits a guy like Jameson Williams a lot, who's trying to win deep. I mean, before last week, he had an ADOT of 17.4. That was his average depth of target, 17.4 yards down the field. He actually was more involved in the screen game last week as well. They were getting him some more intermediate targets. That's a great sign. The snap share is going in the right direction. He's a full-time player again. He's past Josh Reynolds. He's the wide receiver too on this team. So while Amon-Ra St. Brown is the king, he's the star of the show. He's the guy that likely, in fact, gets a little bit of that single high safety coverage, which maybe forces him, like you said, to get more short yardage receptions. Jameson Williams, the guy that's going down the field, and the guy that's trying to burn you, and the guy that's trying to crush you and crush your soul and get that 70-yard catch. And that's what we want to bet on right here. Jameson Williams is a great downfield wide receiver. The talent is there, first-round draft capital, amazing performer in college. The speed is lethal, and we've seen it in the NFL. It's just been in very limited doses. So for me, the snaps are finally at a full-time level. He's involved, heavy single high safety coverage team. He's a great ladder option for me. He only needs a couple catches to make it work. But now that we're seeing some screen game, we actually could get some real volume here. And then Jalen Hyatt on the other side. Woo! There's not many guys that you can, really get this kind of boom or bust upside on. And Hyatt is a guy that, he's cashed for me earlier in the year, but he's also completely busted for me multiple times this season, right? But at the end of the day, the Giants are playing for nothing, right? They have absolutely nothing to go for. And I don't think people, and especially I don't think the betting markets right now have priced in that Tyrod Taylor is like a big upgrade over Danny DeVito, who's been out there the last couple weeks. And I've ranted about this on multiple shows when it was going on, that the whole Tommy DeVito thing should not be in the whole like Lynn sanity category of hype, all that, because the guy fucking sucked. At the end of the day, he was bad the whole time. And if you followed someone that was like, this guy might be your franchise quarterback, maybe there should be a discussion when Daniel Jones comes back. Unfollow that person right now. I mean, there were no signs of life. They were winning these games, sure. It was in like the ugliest fashion possible. He was not facilitating anything on that team. So I'm not saying 80-year-old Tyrod Taylor is going to set the world on fire. Absolutely not. At least you got someone that's not going to burn down the building, not going to take everyone with him out there. And that's what we saw when Tyrod was out there earlier, was a baseline of consistency. Hyatt is another boom or bust player. This is a guy with extreme upside. You're getting plus 425 on his 50 yards. For 80 yards, you're getting 800. So I love the ladder. I love going up for a guy like Hyatt. We've seen the boom performances earlier in the year. And hey, we've got a good matchup right here. We talked about it a little bit earlier. This is a team that gives up a lot of explosive plays on the back end. Who are we competing with? Your whole wide receiver room is retreads. It's nothing. Your team, why is Darren Waller even playing right now? Anyone that had him is already out the fantasy playoffs. You're not even helping those guys. Like, Waller's playing for nothing. You already paid him. What are we doing out here? Get the young guys involved. That's what I want to do. When you're betting long shots like this, you have an advantage. You have a chance to take advantage of coaching shifts, right? To take advantage of things that the market isn't accounting for. I think Hyatt could get wide receiver 1 snaps this week. So sure, you could play, 20 receiving yards or whatever, but when you're getting crazy plus money to go all the way up that ladder, that's what I'm going to do here. I feel the same way about Marvin Mims. I think that's why his props aren't up right now. So these are my trifecta of young boomer bust wide receivers. I parlayed them together, but I would strongly recommend you climb that ladder separately because these guys all have incredibly wide range of outcomes. So love the young wide receivers this week. Ready to fire.
Yeah, you're going to some lower level guys there trying to get it. I'm going to high level guys. I'm going back to my old alt totals that we used to do there, boys. Used to do those in MLB and those first 5 alt totals. I'm taking that Packers game alt total, bro. I can't believe that they're going to give me this at plus 250. The Packers might give up 50 points this week. Dead ass. They could give up 50. You just talked about how fucking garbage Danny DeVito was. Dude had 80 rushing yards on these fuckers. 80. That dude sucks. This defense is horrendous. Jordan Love will be able to move this ball on these guys. Jaden Reed just confirmed in. That's all I needed to see. He'll be able to move the ball. Packers couldn't stop me. We scoring 50. We're going almost 60, bro. I probably will ult this all the way up, bro. I'm dead at. Like, I don't see any way the Packers can flip it overnight, right? There's no way. I don't care if we're at home, dude. They just got absolutely worked by Bryce Young, and Bryce Young hasn't cleared 250 before that, bro. Just threw 300. DJ Chark went for 699 and 2 touchdowns, bro. What are we doing here, bro? Tommy Tremble's getting receptions. What are we doing here, bro? And now I don't care who it is. You got Jay Jetta out there. I don't care, dude. They're gonna have to triple team Jay Jetta if Jair's sitting, which he is. So it doesn't matter. So gonna be a high scoring game. Lamar 70. I'm gonna be all in on Lamar. You're gonna be. I know it's the noon game, which is stupid in its own right, but this is the biggest game of the week for them, right? I mean, obviously the biggest game is probably that Saturday night game, but at the noon slate, you see the noon slate games? Disgusting, bro. They're absolutely disgusting. So I think Lamar's trying to show out again here. Obviously showed out last week. I think he's going to try and take it into his own hands a little bit more. And if I'm getting 70 yards here for a pretty damn good price, I looked at it. For him to do that is plus 210, 250 on the over for the game there. Just looking at Lamar here, he's hit 70 2 of his last 3 games, bro. And they're going to give me 210? I'm in. Let's go. Plus 1,000, 10-1. I could bet on something way worse than that.
Yeah, no, I like the Lamar rush ladder. I mean, hey, I didn't want to victory lap it earlier, but I was a fan of the Dolphins last week, and I said it was in part because of their defense, not because of their offense. And if you look at the numbers love the defense right now. And I mean, I see why. Like, the Dolphins have been presented with a lot of tough opponents, and I think they've managed them reasonably well. But when you look at this team, and when you look at when Lamar doesn't have an option downfield, what is he going to do? He's going to put the ball in his own hands. Lamar doesn't check the ball down, right? I don't know if you've not noticed this. Keaton Mitchell he was averaging like 15 yards a catch, and he was getting one catch a game in that little span. Gus Edwards, no. Justice Hill, no. He doesn't check the ball down. Like, when we're doing bad, there's no safety blanket. There's no Mark Andrews. If you've seen, Isaiah Likely doesn't run like 3-yard routes. He's running like 13-yard slot receiver routes. Like, there's no safety blanket here. They've all kind of been either eliminated or taken away. So when Lamar, sees his guys covered downfield, he's going to take it into his own hands, and he's going to have to scramble himself. And we know he's going to have at least 5-6 design runs to go with it. So I love the rushing upside of Lamar. I'm going to be riding that ladder with you. And I like the Packers total. I wish we had a little bit more consistency, in the game. I actually bet the base total at 43.5. So we're already on the same page right there in the over. It's just like, how much can we trust Hall, I guess, is at the end of the day is the scary thing. Like, I trust him to score 20 points, but I guess I'm sure the argument you're going to make is we couldn't trust Bryce Young and he just put up 300 fucking yards. So I see it. It's just scary.
I can get 65.5 at 1,300. Yep. I can get 67.5. Are you kidding me, bro? I can get 25 to 1 on 71.5 points. I'm telling you, bro, they couldn't stop me. This defense sucks. It is the worst defense I've ever seen in my lifetime of the Packers. That's saying something because they've had some garbage-ass defense. They literally don't have enough guys on certain sides. When they have 3 receivers over there, they're putting 2 corners over there. And they're just running screens behind them, bro. Like, I'm replacing DJ fucking Chark with Justin Jefferson, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, how big of a difference you need? And that dude went for 102 touchdowns. I might just bet Justin Jefferson for 200 yards.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say you should hit the Jefferson ladder and then maybe even the 2 touchdowns kind of thing. I don't know.
Ty Chandler is going to kill him.
I know.
So that's why I don't want to bet him, because they could just run the ball 20-yard chunks every play because they can't stop the run either.
Yeah, it's going to be a Ty Chandler day. That'll be. I'm sure you or me are going to have him in some way by the end of the week. So that'll be something to follow as well.
All right, Stu, let's wrap it up here, my friend. We got 30 people in here live. You got anything for the people?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're still here, leave a like if you haven't already. It is very much appreciated. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you actually like what you're watching. And I mean, it's hard to differentiate out here. You know what I mean? We're coming in here every week. We're giving out good picks. We're winning bets. I feel like it's not too much to ask for a like on the other side. You see 700 people watch. You had a good show. Everything's good. I mean, 40 likes is not terrible, but like, tell YouTube you liked it. You know what I mean? It's not too hard to do out here. So we're doing our best out here. I mean, battling. I got COVID. I'm still here, 24/7. We were here 3 years. We're going to be here hopefully 3 more, but you guys got to help us out a little bit along the way. So likes are obviously appreciated, retweet, share, stuff like that. Spread the word. Tell your grandmother. Family parties, New Year's, hey, should pass the prop up next to the ball. Watch it go down at the same time. We'll win you some money along the way. New Year's Rockin' Eve. Are you guys going to watch Journey? They're all like 90 years old. What's going on? Let's win some fucking bets.
You want to hang out with Brian fucking Seacrest, bro? Get that shit out of here.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper. Is that what we're doing? Come on, guys. Right. We got to win some bets. We got a lot of sports on. You know us. It's not even just football as well. Busy time of year. We're still here for you across multiple sports. So a lot of good stuff going on. Like I said, follow on Twitter, likes, all that stuff. It goes very far. So we appreciate that. And hey, I'm just glad, we've been winning a lot of money recently. Hopefully we can carry that momentum into the new year.
Hey, we appreciate you, Paul. As always, my friend, always happy to see you in the chat as well. I'm happy you guys are tuning in, making money. Obviously, you went 5-0 yesterday. Always love to see those big days. And that's the thing, right? I mean, you go on Twitter, you might see some people cheering for people to lose. We don't cheer for people to lose. We want everybody to win here. We're all against the books here together. So if you could, hit that like button on your way out. Probably, I don't know if we're doing one on New Year's Day. We'll talk about it, but we'll figure it out. So make sure you follow both of us, have the notification bell on, and we'll let you know when we go live. So have a good one, guys, and best of luck on your bets this weekend.